Hello to all the good viewers of this program who are watching this program with us on a weekly basis. This is our English program of the week regarding part 5 of the life of Jafar al-Sadiq, the serial sadistic killer. And as I'm talking to you guys, before I share screen, let me send the link out. Forgot about sending the link. Let me send the link out on Telegram for those who want to watch it live. If you don't have my Telegram, you're missing out. You should go to my link tree, which is underneath this video. Click on that, go to Telegram, click on it, and then you'll be able to join us there and subscribe there. And then you'll have the links to all the programs live as we start. All right, you should have the share screen material that I just pulled up. In the meantime, I also clicked on it from Telegram in order to get onto our YouTube channels through my phone so that I can see if there's any kind of problems. And if there are, I can solve them for you. I'm just waiting for the share screen that I shared with you to pop up on my phone. There we go. Last week in part 4, we finished with his family. Remember? Up here was his family. Number 2, the family. And now we go to Abu Hanifa. And now we have to explain who is Abu Hanifa. Let me drink some water. I already did an hour-and-a-half program in Persian. And now, right after it, we're starting this one. Before we say who's Abu Hanifa and the story, we have to give you a breakdown because you, as the English viewers, may not have the advantage of those who were born Muslim, who may have some of the background of what we're talking about. Hence, these characters need to be introduced to you so that you'll have an idea of what we're talking about. In Islam, we have 2 main branches. The first one is Shia. The second one is Sunni. Sunni is the bigger branch. Shia is the smaller branch. In Shia Islam, we have multiple branches that come out of it. Majority of them are from the Shia Ithna Ashari, and the minority of them are from the Ismaili. And the Ismaili break down into more and more and more pieces, whereas the Ithna Ashari are just those who believe in the 12s. Hence, Ithna Ashari. The 12 people are supposedly all imams from the family of the Prophet. At least that's what they teach. Now back to the Sunni side, the bigger branch. There is a lot of divisions, far more than you would find in the Shia branch. However, at first, the Sunni branch breaks down into 4 different groups. So we get 4 branches out of it. Those are the 4 main madhabs, 4 main schools of thought. Each one is named after a certain individual. One of those schools is the Hanafi school, named after Abu Hanifa. He is their imam. And then, of course, there is different variations of them. And eventually you come out with some who call themselves Salafi and Wahhabi and yada, 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 Sufi, and the list goes on and on and on. Nation of Islam and a whole bunch of other crap that comes out of this. However, in this story, we're talking about Abu Hanifa, the man who the Hanafi school of thought is named after. And a lot of Muslims say that if you're not Hanafi, then you're not Muslim, regardless if you're Sunni or not. So in this story, let's see what Abu Hanifa did. Remember, this is about Musa al-Kazim. Abu Hanifa was among those who believed in the doctrine of compulsion and summoned the people to believe in it. This belief maintains that the act that issues from man is not created by him, meaning by the man himself, and does not issue from him through his choice. Rather, it is created by Allah, the so-called God of Islam, and issues through Allah's will, and that man's will and power has no relationship in finding any deed, whether it is issued from him through his choice or he is forced to perform. Those were the thoughts of Abu Hanifa. And now the Shia. The Shia have unanimously agreed that such a belief is invalid and incorrect. Besides, the jurists have established that it is false, that they consensusly decided that any option act should be preceded by some voluntary prerequisites, which are as follows. So the Shias have conditions on what you do, your deeds. Your first condition is one must imagine the thing in mind. And I forgot they're talking about deeds. They should have replaced thing with deeds. You should imagine the act that you want to do. For example, if you wanted to steal a hamburger, you should first think of it. Want to steal the hamburger. If you want to help the poor, first you should think of it. I want to help the poor. Second condition, his soul must incline to it. That's right. Your soul must incline to you wanting to steal a hamburger to feed your stomach. After all, I would say you'd agree with the Shia, wouldn't you? That your soul is the one that's eating the hamburger. Especially if it's really hamburger and not beef burger. I mean, number 3, he should perfectly be sure of its advantages. Don't say it was a bad deed, ladies and gentlemen. There was advantages in it. I mean, you went and you killed somebody. There was advantages in it. You got to take his wife and his daughter as your sex slaves. And his son you castrated and he became your house slave. See? There was advantages in it. Come on. Don't cut the advantages short. When these prerequisites are perfect, very good doesn't count. It has to be perfect. Okay, remember that, ladies and gentlemen. The prerequisites have to become perfect. Okay. In the horizon of the soul, it's back to the soul. You know, the soul is where it becomes perfect. Okay. You slept too much and you showed up too late for your job. I mean, your job started at 8 o'clock in the morning and you showed up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when everyone's gone home. Hey, there was advantages to it. You got to sleep in. Your soul is happy now. Hey, what can you say about what these guys write, man? Yeah. What kind of drugs they're on, I don't know. The will clings to deed, and man strives to find it. That's right. You find the deed now, okay? You find it. Never mind that it's not physical. I mean, this is a pen. It's physical. I can lose it and find it, okay? How do you find a deed? Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue. If you think about it too much, you will hurt your brain. I don't want you to hurt your brain, ladies and gentlemen. So we will continue. We will continue. Or orders it to be performed, whether it is good or ugly. There's no bad. You just got good and ugly. Okay? You know, like if you saw a woman that has a nose that's like 16 feet long that she has to drag on the ground, and then she has like molds coming out of everywhere, and you look at that and you say, man, that's an ugly woman. You know, the same way you would say about deeds. I mean, there are ugly deeds and there are good deeds. There is no such thing as a bad deed. So if you went and you killed 15,000 people in one day, it was ugly. It wasn't bad. It was ugly, according to Islam. And don't tell them otherwise, you know, because you will be. I mean, after all, you guys are not Dr. Mossavat. No, you know. We have to give them their dues when it counts, you know. If you talk, yes, you. And there is no concern or compulsion on man to perform it. No concern. Do as you wish. That is why Hamas killed 1,400 people, 1,400. That is why Hamas raped all the people they raped. That is why they mutilated all the bodies they mutilated. It's not a bad deed. It's an ugly deed. And there is no concern or compulsion. It's just something. And who said they performed it? They found it, ladies and gentlemen. They found it. Okay, they found that. Islam just taught you. They found, okay? When you do something, you performed it. When they do something, they found it. Anyway, that I'm not saying anyway, they're saying anyway, because, you know, they're going back to the story. Abu Hanifa was on top of those who believed in compulsion. He was on top of them, okay? He climbed on top of them, and he stood on their heads. He was on top of them, okay? Don't tell anyone that it's a lie. Don't let them tell you otherwise. He's on top. See, look, I will highlight it for you. See? On top. You'll see it soon enough. He was on top of them. He traveled to Yathrib. Yathrib, you know, and they put in brackets Medina, the land of the Jews. That was the city of the Jews in Saudi Arabia. And then they tell you, oh, there was no Jews here. They came from Europe and they took our land. It reminds me of in South Park when the little kids were trying to pretend to be pro wrestlers, and they came in the middle of the ring and they were talking about how the other one took his job, and the guys that were sitting paying to watch this, they were saying, he took a job. Same thing here, you know. They say they took our land, they took our land. They don't tell you we went there, we decimated them, committed genocide, killed every single Jew in Yathrib, made sure there is not even one single Jew left in Yathrib. And then we changed the Jewish name of the city to Madinat al-Nabi. And then later on, because in our own sources, it says that Muhammad chastised these people, killed every single one of them, raped all their little children, yes, boys and girls, and did not let one Jew stay alive in the city. Hey, we're going to drop the Nabi part and just keep it as Medina. That Tul Nabi has to be dropped. And today they call it Medina. But before Islam came there for refuge from so-called Mecca, which does not even exist until centuries after, And this guy ran out of Jordan, out of a city called Petra in Jordan, which was where the real Kaaba was. They don't tell you that part. But when he ran from Petra in Jordan to the western southern part, southwest, we could call it, of Saudi Arabia's region, to a Jewish city called Yathrib, they don't tell you that part. They don't say the Jews lived in this whole area, and then we came in and killed every single one of them, committed genocide, and the Jew took the Jews' land. Now we are the occupiers of the region. They don't tell you that part, but they'll tell you that the Jews are occupying our historical Palestine. And they don't tell you that the Palestinian was from Greece, from the island of Crete, and that they used to call themselves Phoenicia. And they got that Phoenicia land from the Jews. And they don't tell you that the Canaan are not Palestinian, and that the Canaan people are a mixture of people from Assyria, Babylon, Persian, the Medes, and the Egyptians mixed together in a melting pot. They don't tell you that part. No. You got to be kept away from that. Both the Muslims will keep you away, and the globalist agenda movement that you see in CNN and MMBC, Hee-Haw, and ABC and CBS and BBC and the rest, all the jokers, they won't tell you that either. They won't tell you that's the name of an area, Palestine. They don't tell you that. Like Mount Everest. I mean, you don't have a country called Everest, do you? Do you? No, you don't. Huh? You have a Ganga River. You don't have a country called Ganga. You have a Pacific Ocean. It borders the lands of America and Japan and China and many other places. You don't have a country called Pacific. They don't tell you that part. Viewers, they don't tell you that part. So when you see it in their own literature like this, you got to be quick to pick it up. They are the occupiers, not the Jew. They kicked the Jew out of Yathrib. This Yathrib right here, they kicked them out of. See, I got to explain certain things to the Persian community so they can understand. But some of those which I explained to them, I cannot explain to you because you don't need the explanation. You speak English. However, there are things you need explained to you, the English viewer, that the Iranians don't need to be explained to them because they already know it. So some of what I say between the two programs might be a little different, but the main program is the same. The reason why it's a little different, so that both of you can catch on and meet each other at the same area. I want to bring the two forks in the road to one road. So Abu Hanifa went to Yathrib, the city of the Jews, which the Muslims have conquered, to debate with Ja'far al-Sadiq. Remember the stripper? We just did so many videos on Ja'far al-Sadiq, the stripper. On this belief, while he was famous for his being the opponent. So he knew Ja'far al-Sadiq was an opponent for the belief system that everything is predetermined in your life. When he arrived in it, who knows what this in it is? I mean, did he arrive in a woman? Did he arrive inside of a camel? Did he arrive inside of a city? Did he arrive in a house? What did he arrive in? Nobody tells us. He headed for the Imam's house. He went to Ja'far's house. He sat in the corridor, you know, the corridor that's inside. When you enter a house, there is a corridor area. You take off your coat and your boots and your shoes, and you have a little bench you sit on. Yeah, when he arrived, he just put his head down like a cow going inside of a tavern. He went in, no knocking on the door, no waiting for someone to open the door. He just went inside the corridor. Islam, ladies and gentlemen, Islam. You see how they act. Waiting for a permission to enter. Well, did he enter or did he not enter? I mean, this makes sense if it was before the corridor. You wait for permission, then they bring you in the corridor. Then they tell you, wait here. His Majesty will arrive. Not the other way around. You don't say bye, hi. You say hi, bye. I mean, these people, I don't know what they smoke before they come along. You know, I don't know if they're doing crack cocaine, if they're doing hashish, if it's heroin, if it's weed. I don't know what they're doing before they write, but they you know, mullahs, what, they don't have a brain. They just write away because, you know, for the sake of filling in the paper. Yeah, just put anything in there. The guy who's going to read it is just as stupid as them. They don't understand. They don't comprehend. They just go with the flow. Very rare that a Muslim will even read the book. Yeah, if the guy told you he read it, you need to ask him, are you all right? Do you have a temperature? Or is something wrong with you? But Muslims don't read. 99% don't read. And the 1% that read, well, we got stories. Are you sure he read? Because I doubt he didn't read. Back to where we were going with the story here. While he was sitting there, a boy came out, walking slowly. You know, like how girls like to walk and shake their booty when they walk. You know, they got to do that. And then all their eyes in the movies, you see the guys, you know, they all turn into owls with their eyes popped out. Whoa! And they're just watching because she's shaking it. Yeah. That's how this kid was doing it. This is famous. Even until today, they do it. Go to my Telegram. You, the viewer. If you don't go to my Telegram, you miss out. I put it out there last month. How they took these kids in Afghanistan, put makeup all over the little boys' faces, have them shaking their booty like a little girl, and all the viewers are men. The little boys act like women. And then after it's finished, they take them out in the back to do the, you know what they do. I mean, if you need me to break that down for you, you should get what I'm saying. So here, Musa al-Kazim is doing the same. He's shaking that booty. Came over, walking slowly. Abu Hanifa asked the boy, where does a stranger relieve nature? He wants to go to the washroom. The boy turned to him and said to him slowly, turned to him like this, and sat beside him. He then sat down politely right beside him, because you gotta look him in the eye. You gotta sit right beside him, turn him on. Coming on to him, we would say. Then leaned against the wall. You know, like in some movies, you see the women, they don't want to make the first move, but they want to do some physical things to get the guy riled up to come and make the first move. That's what Musa al-Kazim is doing here. First, he leaned slowly into him. Then he sat beside him. Now he's like this on the wall. Like, I'm ready. Just start the deed. Islam, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking Islam here. Okay? This is Islam. Welcome to Islam 101. The real Islam, not the fake crap CNN and Fox and George W. Bush want to tell you about how Islam is a peaceful religion. Not the Obama Islam of we respect all Muslims. No, here we don't respect shit when it's shit. Real Islam. The real thing, the authentic Islam, you will hear here. And you need to hear it so you can make sure your children don't become Muslim. Like the lefties who are gay and Antifa members and BLM members, and today they all want to become Muslim. Not because they know what Muslim is, but because they want to be in solidarity with the Hamas. So they all go on TikTok and come out embracing Islam, not knowing what Islam even stands for. When you learn from here, you can save your children. You can have that talk with your children. Hey, you know what Islam is? You can tell your child, and your child cannot go ahead and say, well, you are a bigot. Back to the story. Advertisement part is over. Back to the story. You know, like in TV, when you watch a program and they keep inserting advertisement, we also do the same in this program. We insert advertisement. Except we just don't get paid for these advertisements, unfortunately. You know, it's free advertising. What can you do? Some people can only afford free advertising. That's the case for us. And now he sat beside him, and he went on the wall like this. And he says to him, he began to give him answers to his question. Avoid the banks of rivers. I mean, which one of you didn't know that? I mean, if you're going to go and relieve yourself, you wouldn't do it in a river. The places where fruits fall. It's called the fruit tree. Don't urinate underneath a fruit tree. Because that urination is going to get sucked into the roots of that tree, and then it's going to go into the fruits, and then you're going to eat it. Who doesn't know this? The courtyards of the mosques. So don't go and urinate in the courtyard of your synagogue or your temple or your church or your mosque. Which one of you doesn't know this? Who is the monkey who will come in the comments afterwards and will write in the comments, I, Jimbo Bob, son of John Smith, son of Matthew Singapore, son of Moscow Austin, because, you know, people like to put the names of cities nowadays as their names, son of Abraham, did not know that you cannot piss in the church. Which one of you is ready to come and say, I'm the monkey that didn't know this? I mean, really, who did not know these things? And of course, the most important one, the middle of the road. Do not urinate in the middle of the road. I mean, that one, I can see someone not knowing that. Yeah, that totally makes sense. I mean, when the car comes at you and you're standing there, or you're squatting there if you're a girl, and the car's coming right at you. I mean, who knew that you were going to do that? How did you know that the car would come in the middle of the road? I mean, back in the day, it would be a horse with a buggy. Astonishing. Hide yourself behind the wall. Okay? If you're going to urinate, make sure it's a wall. Who cares if that wall is part of somebody's house? I mean, the whole of Bangladesh and Pakistan and India, you're walking down the street and the guy pulls down his pants and flip comes out and he pulls up the pants, doesn't even wipe. And then they say they wash. Yeah, sure. In the middle of a desert where there is no water, they were washing themselves. And Muhammad used 3 rocks to wipe and dig. But these guys, 400 years after, when they took over all of Iran, and in Iran we have water because we're not 100% desert, and we have water, and people were washing themselves, and they learned it from us. Now all of a sudden, they write a hadith proclaiming the Prophet was washing himself in a desert. Yeah, because you all know deserts have so much water. I mean, the ocean is jealous of the desert because of the amount of water you find in a desert. Makes perfect sense. Don't you think so? Let me know in the comments after the program. Back to the story. Find the wall and begin to give him the answer. Find the wall. You should not face the Qibla, the direction of Kaaba, nor have your back to this direction of the Kaaba. And relieve nature where you wish, anywhere you want. Okay. If you find some grass somewhere, go ahead. Just like a dog. If you find someone's wall of their home, go right ahead. If you find the wall of a school, go right ahead. If you find any kind of wall, I mean, that's the reason why they built walls. They built walls so you can come and unzip your pants and, I mean, that's what it's for, you know? Back in the day, there was no, I mean, the Prophet used to do that too, but then the trees would come and the earth would open up and the earth would eat it and the trees would, you know, shake itself and make it smell like perfume. And, you know, whatever came out of the Prophet was perfume. And at the end of the day, that's why people used to drink it too. And it was healing their stomachs. And, you know, they're all, hey, these are hadith. I'm not making it up. These are hadith. Ladies and gentlemen, everything that comes out of my mouth is pure Islam. Yep. Walls were made for people like you and me so we can urinate in front of them. That's the only reason why we have walls. Okay? When Donald Trump says, build the wall, the Muslim says, I will pee. Yeah. That's what it's for. I mean, they're going to come and pee there now. Just imagine your whole southern border, all on one side smells like urine. Ugh. Almost like a bus stop with homeless people. Those Mexicans, they're in for something once all these Muslims that are crossing the border right now, when all of them are stuck on the Mexican side and they're all urinating. Oh boy, I don't want to be the Mexicans with that smell. Oh my goodness. And the Mexicans are going to be wondering, what did we do to deserve this? Why are you torturing us with this smell? Who's going to clean this? But anyway, that's a different story. 1 year from now. Yep, Trump 2024, and then you'll see. Don't tell me that I didn't warn you. I warned you guys. This is what's going to happen when that wall gets fixed. That's right. He explained to him the places where it is detested and forbidden to relieve nature. I mean, honestly, none of you knew that, right? None of you knew you couldn't urinate by the riverbank, inside of the courtyard of spiritual places, underneath a fruit tree, because, you know, fruits fall there, and in the middle of the road. I mean, none of you knew that. Come on, now, be serious. You just learned it for the first time, didn't you? I mean, be honest. Fascinating stuff. So Abu Hanifa was dazzled and astonished. I mean, it blew his mind. He went, because he had not thought that there was any boy who had such scientific abilities. And this is scientific now, okay? Don't pee in the middle of the road is scientific. Don't pee where the fruit falls. I mean, the guy doesn't even know it's called a fruit tree. Don't pee where the fruit falls is scientific. Don't pee in the courtyard of a spiritual place. It's scientific. But if you find a wall, pee right at the wall. That is scientific. You see, Islam is teaching you science. What is your name? Abu Hanifa said. And of course, Musa got scared at this point because, back then his family, these people, they scammed so many people. They knew people coming after them. This is a stranger after all. You don't know who this guy is. He never asked him his name. But now the stranger is asking, what is your name? Now let's look at the response. Musa bin Jafar bin Muhammad bin Ali bin al-Hussein bin Ali bin Abu Talib. Man, the guy asked you your name. Why you have to give all the names of all your fathers? The only reason is should confuse the guy. Is this the really guy, the guy I'm looking for or not? All the Arabs until today, they all have to do this. When they meet each other, I am Ali bint al-Hussein bint al-Hasan bint al-Muhammad bint al-Ahmad bint al-Bint. I mean, the guy will go on and 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 on. You're lucky if you come on first day of class and then they tell you, okay, tell us your name, and you're the first one in line. You don't want to be the last one in line because you'll never get to tell your name. The first guy, he's going to take like half an hour time. The class is going to finish in an hour. He already took half an hour telling you his name because it's so long. Then the second guy, he's going to take the other half. Everybody else has to wait till day 2. Imagine how many days you have to go forward just so everyone can get their names in. And then somebody else will be added to that class. And here you go again, another day. I mean, that's why in their countries, until today, all the people that want to work in the country have to come from outside of the country. I mean, these guys never learned anything when they were in school. What can they learn? I mean, every day one guy is going to tell you his name. And it's not just his name. It's his name and his father's name, his father's father's name, and his father's father's name, and his father's father's name. And it's going to go on as long as he knows. And tomorrow he'll come back and tell you, I forgot, there was 2 more I got to add on. Story of every Arab. Us Muslim Iranians, we got like a little bit discount, We don't do all that garbage thing. We just tell you our name and our family name. But if you go to one of the Arabs, I feel sorry. When Abu Hanifa came to know the boy was a branch of a tree. Yeah, Musa was a branch of a tree. His father was a tree of the prophecy and the imamat. Ladies and gentlemen, prophecy comes with a prophet. The prophet was human feces Muhammad. That's his name, Ghatam. Ghatam means human feces. How many times I tell you that? For the new viewers, the word Ghatam, which was his name for the first 40 years of his life, means human feces. Then he changed his name to the praised one. So in reality, if we translate his full name, human feces praised one. That's right. That's the name of the Prophet of Islam. He was supposedly, according to Islam, the last prophet. Meaning when he dies, prophecy also ends. He was an impotent man. He shot blanks. He had no kids. The one kid they say is his kid, it's Fatima Zahra. And that turned out to be the daughter of Khadija with her last real husband, that died prior to Muhammad. Khadija got married 3 times prior to Muhammad, and every single one of them died. And she took over their wealth. She was a black widow. She killed every single husband. You hear about cases like that even till today. The woman marries a guy, ends up killing him, takes over what he had, moves on, finds another prey, kills that guy, and they say mysterious death. And then years later, 10 years, 20 years later, they go and they dig out the bodies to find out that she used a specific type of chemical to kill them all. And then they find out, yes, that was Khadija 1,400 years ago. Now she was older, and she married her cousin Muhammad. And Muhammad had the same thoughts in mind, just like her. So neither one trusted the other. That's why she couldn't kill Muhammad. And I believe Muhammad killed her for the money, which he used very well to hire more goons, to kill and rob more caravans and people, and take their lands, and make their children his sex slaves. But anyway, that's a whole different thing. This prophecy that I just highlighted ended with that one. This imamate over here that you're going to see after that being highlighted is only the belief of the Shia. Abu Hanifa is not a Shia. Hence, in his mind, if he was to accept these people as imams, then he would become their follower, which would mean all of his followers would also then become, by default, Shia. But his followers are not Shia. Abu Hanifa's followers identify themselves as Sunni. In fact, Abu Hanifa is one of the 4 main schools of thought of all Sunni. They are the Hanafi sect, which means Abu Hanifa would never say the sky is a branch from the tree of prophecy and Imam. He would never do that. This is a lie. This is a lie she has inserted in their own book only for the benefit of fooling the Shia reader who reads this, so that the Shia reader will still stay Shia after reading the garbage that we have covered so far. That is the only reason why it's. But back to the story. He became tranquil. Tranquil, tranquil, tranquille, tranquille. And then he asked him about the question. Which question? The debate question. Not the urination. Come on, he already asked that one. How many times you want him to ask that? I mean, you know he's stupid, but he's not that stupid to ask the same question again. Remember, he was dazzled and astonished with the scientific ability. Okay? So here we go. He asked the question. He had prepared for Sadiq the stripper. I mean, when you have a father who's a stripper, of course you have a pedophile child who's coming on to old men. He said, boy, from whom does disobedience issue? I mean, issue and disobedience, are they the same thing? Does the issue, I mean, here they should have put deed. Anyway, it's Mullah's writing. Does the issue from Allah or from the servant? Musa answered him, saying, either it is issue from Allah and not from the servant of Allah, or so Allah does not punish the servant for the he does not do,
or it is a issue from the servant of Allah, and also from Allah. Allah is a stronger partner. Therefore, the stronger partner has no right to punish the weaker partner. So there is no sin, and they are equal. Or because you know they all sounded like the Pakistanis. Yeah, the issue is from the servant of, and not from the Allah. Yeah. So if he wills to pardon him, he will pardon him, and if he wills to punish him, he will punish him. And Allah knows whose help is sought, you know. And according to the rational restriction in the conclusion, is the full of the elements. It's an element now, element of the firm scientific proof. Here's a scientific proof. Man cannot invalidate or refute. Well, in that case, I mean, if it's a challenge, I am part of man. Man meaning humanity over here. I'm going to do my Bruce Lee exaggerations here. You remember in the Bruce Lee movies, before he started whooping some butt, he would always do his stretches and make some of these noises too. Dr. Mossavat is a man of knowledge. Challenge, you say? Yeah, I take that challenge. I accept. Let's see what Abu Hanifa did first. Abu Hanifa became dazzled and astonished. I mean, the guy is dazzled and astonished with a little boy. I think he's more dazzled and astonished about that derriere that was shaking before in front of his face. Okay. So he raised his voice, saying, I am satisfied with what I have heard. He went out defeated. Inability appeared on his face. He did not meet with the Sadr, the stripper. He didn't meet. I mean, here, you should have said he did not meet, not he did not met. You could have said he didn't met, but you don't need to put did not met. I mean, these people, yeah. Who are these people? Here's a hadith for you. That's the link. And I know they're going to say this is a Sunni hadith, this is a Sunni hadith. Well, Abu Hanifa was a Sunni man. So here's a hadith. You want the Shia one? According to Shia Islam, in al-Kafi, you will find it. Allah created a light that he put on the crown of his head. Then he took the light out of the crown. I mean, Allah wears a crown. He thinks he's a king. That's why he always talks, we. He's not talking French. That we is an English we, like, you know, like the king and his entourage. We. Okay? It's not, hey, don't get it confused with the gay we. Okay? It's not the French we, it's not the gay we. It's also not the we you hear from the ambulance. This is the we as in us, okay? Don't get them confused. I know there's a lot of we's, but don't get them confused. Anyway, Allah created this light, then he split it in two. First half stayed as Muhammad. The second half turned into Ali, like my name, Ali. Then Ali turned into 14 pieces. The last one then split and turned into all the prophets, hundreds of thousands of them. And then that last one split again, and then all creation came out of it. The earth, the moon, the stars, the sun, the river, the trees, the grass, the animals, the human beings. I mean, the jinn, the angels, of course, Satan too. Everything came out.
And then the last one of those, well, of course, I mean, come on now, everything's already created. You can't split into anything. You should have already known the answer to that one. That is the point where people, some of them bowed to Muhammad and his family and the prophets, while others bowed only to Muhammad, while others only bowed to Muhammad and his family, and others only bowed to the prophets. I mean, right then and there, they all became idol worshippers. Instead of worshiping God, they were worshiping humans. Right then and there, Islam is in the toilet. What one God-based theory? You're worshiping all these human beings, hundreds of thousands. According to this hadith, Allah forced, He wrote it down for them, that some will bow to the Prophet and his Ahlul Bayt, meaning his family members, because He wanted some people to be created in this world who will follow the Ahlul Bayt, while He had others who only bowed down to the prophets. They became all the different religions, you know. But those who just bowed to the Prophet of Islam, they became Sunni. So right then and there, before you even became a fully created being on this earth, when you were in light form and you weren't even in a soul form, the light form of you was already bowing, putting his head on the ground in front of these people. And that was ordered to you. It was decreed to you. Right then and there, you just destroyed the whole conversation. But don't worry about that. We will talk about this hadith, and then we'll call it for this week, because I know we've been past an hour. If not, we're right about there now. Chapter, the meaning of every child is born in a state of fitra. This fitra is a foundation of Islam. This fitra is the one that I just told you in the other hadith, where you were forced to bow down to the Prophet and his family and all the different prophets that came. That was your fitra. It's a foundation in Islam. You cannot avoid the fitra. And the ruling on the dead children of disbelievers and of the Muslims. Pay attention, everybody. This is for all of you. The disbelievers and the Muslims alike. Don't ask me which group you're in. I mean, you should know. If you're a Muslim, you're not in the disbeliever. If you're in the disbeliever, you're not a Muslim. Congratulations. Aisha, the pedophile sex contract woman, loosely called woman, because she was a child. Put things in the right context. She was 6 years old when she signed the sex contract called the nikah, not izdawaj. Izdawaj is marriage. Nikah means Fucking. And then there was a contract for it. So she signed that when she was 6 years old. She did the deed when she was 9 years old. But these are Arabic months, and in Arabic calendars, you don't have 365 and a half days, because every month is 29 or 30 at max. Hence, every year you should deduct about 10 to 15 or so days, roughly. So in reality, she signed this contract when she was 5. And she did the deed when she was 8. Now, how old is Muhammad, you say? 54.
Where do you put people like that today? I think you know the answer. Aisha said, Messenger of Allah was called to lead a funeral for the prayers for a child from the Ansar people. First lie, it wasn't a child, it was an infant. But when they translate it in English, I mean, it's really bad if they say infant and then say it's going to hell. I mean, ask yourself. Just put yourself in this position. You're a judge. You are the judge. You, the viewer, you're the judge. An infant just died. Infant. 1 month old, 2 month old, 3 month old. I mean, you know, in the age of wah, wah, and maybe do a this gesture with his hand when he needs to be picked up and moved. And all the kid knows is eat from its mother's breasts, poop, and sleep. That's it. I mean, this little baby doesn't even know its name. It laughs if you come and tickle it. It cries when it pooped itself or it needs milk. It'll cry. That's the only ability it literally has. And it died. Are you going to sentence it to hell? For what crime? Think about it. You're the judge. But let's see what happens. I said, who's I? Aisha. Aisha is saying to the messenger of the prophet when he was called to go to the funeral and perform a prayer for this little baby. So Aisha says, Allah's messenger, there is happiness for this baby who is a bird from the birds of paradise, for it committed no sin, nor has he reached the age when one can commit a sin. I mean, it's a baby infant. What can it do? She makes a good point. A baby girl makes a valid point for a baby infant. He said, I mean, it can't be Aisha. Aisha is a girl. So who else is left? Muhammad, the so-called prophet of Allah. He said, Aisha, peradventure, it may be otherwise. This kid is going to hell. Why, you ask? Because Allah created for paradise. Allah created for paradise those who are fit for it while they were yet in their father's loins. And we all know the loins is the sperm here. And the sperm comes from the backbone of the men. I mean, testicles are just there for decoration, like jingle bells on the Christmas tree, and like the lighting on the houses during a special day. When people, New Year's, they put it up. Christmas, they put it up. Halloween, they put it up. You know, for Easter, they put it up. Men needed some decoration, so they got 2 testicles that dangle at the bottom. They're there for no use. Nothing. Science. This is the science. How dare you say no? This is science according to Islam and Allah and the Quran. And if you say anything against it, off with the head. It's Islamic Sharia. The rulings. How dare you say no? So Allah created those for paradise while they were yet in their father's sperms. They haven't even been born yet. They haven't even been created. Nobody even knows the person is going to exist. Yet the person is already created for heaven. I mean, the guy didn't do nothing. And let's see what else happens. And created for hell those who are to go to hell. He created them for hell. Them who? People. He created them for hell while they were yet in their father's loins. So while you were a sperm, this Allah decided if you will end up in heaven or you will end up in hell. You had no choice in the matter. You were a sperm amongst millions and millions and millions of sperm. As you know, every time you do the deed, you release over 50 million sperms. You were the lucky one out of 50 million sperms that turn into a creation. You know, but you go ask Les Brown. Les Brown said it back in the 80s when he gave his lecture for Amway, when they brought him in as a motivational speaker. The lecture is called I Was Born to Live. You can find that also on YouTube. You can thank me later. I got all kind of source of knowledge up here. And I'll share it with you, provided you share it on. Pass it along. Don't keep it. Don't be a Scrooge and keep it just for yourself, okay? Pass it along. Pass it along, okay? We need everybody to get this. Everyone needs to get it. So what was all that talk of? Either it was Allah or it was Allah and you were the partner with Allah, or it was you just the slave, the slave. Why you say slave? Because everybody's Abdul. You're all slaves of Allah. And they said no one can dispute the scientific proofs of the elements that Musa displayed. Hell, I just crushed all of that elements and destroyed his so-called science, which was not even science. I mean, I just grabbed it, crushed it with one hand. I got more to go with. And this was just the beginning. I mean, I took the challenge seriously, but I took, I had to have mercy on you guys, because I mean, I would be here all day until the day I die crushing it, but I had to take mercy on you. But I'm not done. However, I am done with this part 5. We will continue next week with part 6. Tomorrow, we will have another program. It's not this program, but it is another program. It is in English. We did the Persian of it yesterday, and we're going to continue that today. I mean, if Allah can be a we, why can't I be a we? I mean, I'm more powerful than Allah. I just crushed it, you see? Crushed. If I can crush Allah, and he calls himself a we, I can also call myself a we. Yeah. Say, makes sense, doesn't it? Until tomorrow, I leave all of you, the good English viewers, in the hand of Jesus.